What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including another backstage incident at All Out, an update on the Hardys returning to WWE, a former WWE personality blasts AEW spot, a big return planned for Raw, Jim Ross's fury over WWE Backstage Incident, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at a backstage incident at All Out. Atop of the news today is a report of some sort of backstage incident at AEW's recent All Out pay-per-view. Brian Alvarez reported on the Observer Radio that right before the Jack Perry vs. Bryan Danielson, so before this match started, a bunch of security dudes just started sprinting backstage. What happened was apparently there was some incident with one of the wrestlers that wasn't on this show. They were shooting something backstage and this wrestler and a production guy got into a big thing. Some people are saying it was absolutely nothing, but it was big enough that security sprinted backstage. But I was told whatever it was, they apparently talked it out and everything ended up okay. It's unknown if this report is accurate or if AEW is building up on a work shoot based off All Out's infamous backstage altercation, which involves CM Punk, the Young Bucks, Ace Steel, Jack Perry, and Kenny Omega. At the same time, AEW is known for its volatile locker room, which has allegedly led to several real-life altercations. AEW is pushing the envelope recently, as seen by Adam Page setting Swerve Strickland's childhood home on fire last week during Dynamite in two controversial spots at All Out. Next up, an update on the Hardys returning to WWE. Now, are Matt and Jeff returning to WWE? Fans have been asking this ever since the Hardys became free agents. Factor this in with Matt's comments that he and Jeff would like to retire in the WWE, and naturally Hardy fans are eager to know if and when they'll see the two wrestlers compete in the promotion where they became legends. Matt updated fans during his Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast saying, "We are both very happy. We're extremely happy with how TNA is going right now. We're going to be continuing this for a while. We just actually talked about some creative stuff going through the end of this year right now. That's very exciting. We did what we have." Matt and Jeff have made an impact, no pun intended, since returning to TNA wrestling, but Matt also clarified, "As far as going to WWE or AEW, it's a never say never scenario in my world. In the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, it's a never say never. You never rule anything out. You never close any doors on anything. You do your best, you keep your chin up, you keep moving forward and try to speak as honestly and transparently as possible." The Hardys missed out on a golden opportunity to become AEW World Tag Team Champions after Jeff's personal demon sidelined his career. However, it sounds like it could still happen if the Hardys were to return to AEW. Matt seemed to hint at what might bring them back to AEW. It's one of those things, if we ended up back in AEW to do something, yeah, we wouldn't be opposed to do that, especially if it's something that sounded really good that we were very intrigued by. As for a WWE return, with WWE, there's still some ongoing conversation with WWE, so yeah, anything can happen in the extreme life of Matt Hardy. Both brothers have incredible imaginations. There's no denying that the clock is winding down on their careers and they still have to decide when and where to end things. What do you think is next for Matt and Jeff after TNA? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a rumored 3-hour SmackDown premiere. Our fans are looking forward to SmackDown's season premiere as the Blue Brand moves to the USA Network. But is the WWE going to air a 3-hour show? Well, fans began asking this when the USA aired a graphic showing SmackDown airing at its usual 8 PM start, but apparently ending at 11 PM, as the next listing was for the film F9 from the Fast and Furious franchise. While there have been rumors of SmackDown expanding to 3 hours for several years, a tweet from WrestleFeatures provided some clarification. According to TV Insider, this week's SmackDown is still listed as a 2-hour broadcast. TV Insider states that the Anonymous will air between SmackDown and a showing of Fast 9. The same goes for official UK listings. The Anonymous is a reality show airing on the USA Network that airs after Raw. USA may be using the SmackDown leading to interest new viewers. So far, there's no indication that SmackDown is expanding, but if the ratings deliver, it wouldn't be surprising to see USA pay for an additional hour, much as it did with Raw when the show was only 2 hours. Next up, a former WWE personality blasts AEW spot. People are still talking about AEW's All Out pay-per-view, but unfortunately 2 spots have thrown AEW into controversy. In case you missed the show, the steel cage match between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland featured a spot where Page stabbed Swerve with a needle. Fans are still baffled over the spot, wondering whether Page drugged Strickland or tried to hurt him. Whatever the case, former WWE personality Jonathan Coachman criticized it in a tweet. The needle bit was some of the worst things I've seen in a long time, and anyone defending it is simply blindly loyal, which shows me that everything I get on here is you're a WWE mark, all you do is kiss Triple H's ass. Well, you clearly never watch Behind the Buckle because we're far from WWE's mouthpiece. We talk about pro wrestling, and today it's about how badly AEW is trying to make headlines, and these are the wrong ones. My goodness, it was one awful decision after another. Last one for me, on to NFL today and something positive. The hypodermic spot wasn't the only controversial spot, as early that night Jon Moxley placed a plastic bag over Bryan Danielson's head, attempting to suffocate him. Now, some critics argue that AEW is desperate for ratings, while supporters argue that AEW is known for violent incidents, particularly during pay-per-views. Whatever the case, the spot was still stupid, dangerous or not, as couldn't Bryan Danielson just rip off the bag? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a big return planned for Raw. It's time for a spoiler on tonight's Raw, so skip ahead to our next story to avoid learning about possible surprise returns during the Red Brand season premiere. A Raw is taking place at the historic Saddledome in Calgary, Alberta, the site of many famous wrestling matches and the home to a certain family dynasty. Bret the Hitman Hart will appear on tonight's Raw, but another member of the Hart dynasty could show up during the match between the Pure Fusion collective of Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark and Sonya Deville, and the team of Lyra Valkyria, Zelina Vega, and a mystery partner. Fans and news sites have been buzzing about whether Natalya, who recently signed a new WWE deal, will return to Calgary to help on Baszler and company. Tonight's show is particularly special, besides it being Raw's season premiere, as the Saddledome will reportedly be demolished. It's also the main reason why Bret Hart is returning to Raw tonight. According to The Observer, he wants to make one final appearance in the arena. Next up, Jim Ross furious over WWE Backstage Incident. A legendary announcer Jim Ross is outraged over a recent photo that leaked showing Randy Orton and Gunther preparing for a match while various WWE talents watch from ringside. Good old JR raged during an episode of his Grillin' JR podcast. Somebody's a chicken shit, quite frankly. Give me attention, I took this picture, nobody's gonna know and all that. It's just unprofessional and has no place. Whoever did it should be fired, simple as that. Shouldn't go to HR, just look, you broke a rule that is important to maintain. Now, the Times of India put the situation into perspective, as in the picture, Randy Orton can be seen in a conversation with Gunther while the two are arch rivals. Additionally, the Wyatt Six can be seen seated in the front row looking completely out of character and without their costumes. Similarly, Triple H was speaking with Drew McIntyre seated by the entrance ramp. The WWE Hall of Famer explained what upset him about the photo. It's daunting and I don't like it. I don't like when things like that happen. It's not fair to the talent. You're not giving them any break. Their job is hard enough as it is, notwithstanding the fact that we're going to take a picture of it and see the two guys that are feuding in conversation in the ring. Just no place for it, and whoever did it should be fired. The WWE breaks kayfabe regularly with its documentaries, but tends to protect kayfabe on social media, so there are arguments for and against Jim Ross's stance. Do you think someone needs to be fired for posting this, or does it even matter in a world where kayfabe is dead? And finally, JoJo Offerman returning to ring announcing. And last but not least, could wrestling fans see JoJo Offerman return to ring announcing? JoJo, the fiance of the late great Bray Wyatt, has been busy caring for her family and mourning the loss of Bray. However, she teased a return during a virtual autograph signing. It's always in the back of my mind that it's something I want to do. I strongly believe that when the time is right, when the moment is right, it's something that hopefully I can get back to. But I'd say I miss it. I miss traveling. I miss the kind of family that you create when you're there. But I also love my life with my kids, but I would never say never. Offerman suggests she might return when her kids are a little bit older, and she said she'd like to try to manage wrestlers. Oh, 100%, I would love that, I would. I have great acting skills. I'm so good. Just kidding, but I really would. There's no one in particular that I can think of right now. I would love to say Wyatt Six, but at the same time, I feel like that'd be a lot. They have so much going on, I wouldn't want to disturb that. But I don't know, I feel like starting a new faction. Why not? As for who I want in, that will take me some time. Would you guys like to see JoJo Offerman return to the ring as announcer or manager? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.